Hello and welcome to Wicklow Good News with me, Gillian Godsall. Today I'm very pleased to be joined by my guest, the artist, the contemporary artist, Joanna Evans. Joanna, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Lovely to be here.
So tell me a bit about your background. You started off as a photographer, but you're a self-taught artist. So explain to me how that works.
Yeah, so I studied photography in college and have dipped in and out of it over the years. But I suppose the art started about 2-3 years ago. My husband and I were fortunate enough to build our own house, and I really wanted concrete worktops in the kitchen. And when I priced them up and everything, they just weren't in our budget. So with a bit of Googling and YouTubing, I decided to rope my dad in to help us to make them. And we did, and they're still in place, thankfully. But there was a lot of bags of concrete left over.
I want to go back to your worktops, right? I really do. So
yeah.
you made your own concrete worktops. Are they not porous? You imagine concrete being porous?
They're not. If you leave oil or red wine or something on it, it may stain if it's left there for a while. But I've sealed them with a concrete sealer, a food safe sealer, so they're pretty robust.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is there a color on them, or is this just the plain concrete?
Plain concrete. I didn't even sand the background thing, so yeah, there's lovely texture on them and everything, and you can put hot things straight on, and suits me down to the ground. So.
Oh, excellent! I never thought. Oh, wow. Okay, so I had to find out about that. So you have your concrete tops in your lovely new house.
Yeah,
so how did you get from there to art?
Yeah, well, my job was just naturally coming to an end at the time, and I was thinking, right, what am I going to do? So I saw all the bags of cement left over. We'd ordered a few extra 2 bags, and I was thinking that definitely could be turned into something. So I just started experimenting, and I actually started with jewelry and some home decor pieces, some tea light holders and things like that, and put them up on a website and did a few Christmas markets and things like that, and it was all going along great. And then I wanted to kind of move on to the next step, and started thinking, is there a way of changing the color? And then went down that road of experimenting with dyes and things like that. And that's how I got into the wall art, which is what I'm mainly focusing on at the moment, still doing the other bits, but kind of working on the wall art. And here I am today.
When I was speaking with you in preparation to talking with you today, I asked the silly question, are they very heavy? Is this big block, and you need a reinforced wall to stick the concrete blocks up on top of them? But it's not that at all. Tell me how the art works.
Yeah, not a silly question at all. In fact, quite a few people ask. So that was one thing I was kind of not concerned about, but aware of, was the weight of concrete and things like that. So I, with experimenting, found wood, a certain type of wood that I can use and cut down to whatever canvas that I want or the customer wants. And then what I do is apply a very thin layer of just your standard Irish cement concrete, and let that dry. It can take sometimes maybe 2 weeks to dry. You have to dry it very slowly so it doesn't crack. And then I start to dye the concrete and layer it on top. So it's not a solid concrete piece of art, it's just the top layer is concrete. So weight-wise, the kind of larger ones on the website might be about 7 kg, so no more than a large framed picture. And I have them hanging on our stud walls in the house with just a standard picture hook that you get in the DIY shop. So.
Wow. So I want to understand the process. You have your canvas, your wooden canvas in front of you, and it's a size chosen by the person maybe who's commissioned the piece.
Yeah.
And you put a thin layer of concrete on as a base, and then do you paint on the other colored pieces, or how does that work?
No, so there's no paint involved anywhere with them. So you can actually buy white cement. So when I'm adding the color, I use the white cement and add in different types of dye. And again, that's been a lengthy process of experimenting. I've gone from everything from food coloring to fabric dye and everything in between. And some dyes take the color quite well and others don't. So it's just a matter of trial and error. So you mix it up and then start applying it on and building it up. But obviously it dries quick enough, so you have to kind of move with it and keep on top of it. And then let it dry for probably 2 to 3 weeks so it doesn't crack out. So yeah.
So you're a contemporary artist. So what you're creating here, it's kind of shapes and colors.
Yes.
So how do you know, like, how do you, if someone commissions you, do they tell you your favorite colors, or how does that work? Or do they give you a memory or a picture or something, or?
Yeah, for the commissions, I suppose if they have a certain space, and if I can, if it's, unless it's lockdown, if I can get to the house and have a look at it and get an idea of the color schemes and things like that, and show them pieces that I've done, they might take elements from different pieces and then we can put it together into one. The slight challenge with it is because I hand mix the colors and I can't make up like a tube because it sets. The colors can vary each time, and even as the pieces dry, they change slightly. But that's all part of the process and the challenge. So,
And
yeah.
if you're doing your own pieces, what inspires you? Where do you take your inspiration from?
I do look quite a bit online. I love kind of contemporary work, and I think what I love about it is that everyone can see something different in a picture. I'm fortunate enough to live in a beautiful area near the sea and greystones. There's the mountains, there's the outside, there's all beautiful colours of nature. And I think really what happens is sometimes I have a picture in my head when I start, but 10 minutes in that could change completely. And that's just the process of kind of, for me, contemporary work. I did a piece there the other week, and I was showing someone the picture on my phone. And for me, this piece was, quite contemporary. It had colours, textures, greys into greens. And I showed it to her, and straight away she went, "Oh, a lavender field." Lavender hadn't even crossed my mind when I was making it, but it was what she saw straight away. So that's what I love about it, and just kind of hearing what other people see when they look at it.
Do you put a finish on the concrete afterwards, or something like a shine or a matte or something, a sealer?
I do. I spray it with a concrete sealant, but it doesn't actually change the finish of it. And that's another kind of important thing I wanted to keep. Like, they're not behind glass, so when you look at them, you can still see the texture and what's kind of going on with it. And I think that's because it's concrete. That's, I think, important to do, and to give the idea of what it is.
Do you have a special art space where you work?
At the moment, I'm working from home, trying to get maybe a little studio out the back of the house to where, because it is messy. It's messy.
I'm just thinking.
And sometimes there's trails of concrete going through the kitchen, and I'm like, oh, the floors.
I was just thinking that because the byproduct, unlike maybe painting, get lumps of concrete, as say, on the floor, not so good for your lovely new house.
Exactly.
Just to get an idea, what kind of price range are these art pieces? Just so people have an idea before they go looking at them.
Yeah. So I wanted to kind of come up with a range that was affordable for people who may be starting to buy original pieces of art, but maybe didn't have quite a big budget. So there is a range on the website called the 135 Project. And they're kind of 30 by 45 centimeters. So they're lovely as well if you're maybe in a flat or apartment, or if you're renting and you don't want to invest in a big piece. So they start at €135. And then the range kind of goes up depending on size from then on. And obviously commission work based on size. So I try to kind of get something to suit all budgets across the board. Yeah.
And it's lovely. You put the nail on the head there when you said you banged the nail on the head. It's original art, and
yes.
It's very hard for someone who's starting off and wants to collect or wants to have something that is original on their walls. How nice, because it is affordable. I mean, obviously, if you're on the pandemic payment is might be a bit tough, but it's not out of range, because people might spend that on a dress or something, so it's not
exactly
crazy money. And it's and then also you're a living artist.
Well, that's true.
That's very nice too as well. I have one or two pieces, and I have one or two artists, and I treasure them because I know the person. It's not a dead person,
Yeah. No, thankfully I'm well and living.
Good. No, that's excellent. So people want to look at you. Oh no, I should also point out on your website too as well, the home decor and the jewelry is beautiful too as well. So you got some pieces. They range, I think, from what is it, $14.99 is it for the jewelry? And up to the art, it starts at the 135. So where can they find you online if you want to look at your gallery and look at your pieces?
You can find me on josieandco.com. So it's JOCEANDCO.com. And that's the website, and all the jewelry, home decor and art is on that. and there's a contact page there if you want to drop me an email or anything. And I'm also on Instagram as well at Josie and Co.
Brilliant. Well, I'm delighted to meet you. I love your stuff. It's really very, very beautiful. It's
Thank you very much.
And it's well done on being an artist. We discussed this too as well. It's a hard title to claim sometimes, isn't it?
It is, but I'll keep slogging away at it anyway.
Yeah, well done, well done. And I hope you make loads of money and have great satisfaction. So thank you so much for your time, Joanna. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. It's Joanna Evans from Josie & Co. Contemporary Artist. Check out her beautiful stuff. That's all for this week. Thank you very much to Marlena Murphy producing and Gavin Dowd on sound. Until next time, be good, be safe, and keep on helping others.